Hello, good day, everyone. So let's start our webinar for today. So can you guys hear me good over here? So if yes, just type something on the charts. Let me know that. All right, great. Okay. All right, so welcome to our Ultima Live webinar for today. So basically today our topic would be talking about master the markets with trend analysis. So basically this event is in conjunction with our trader leads for season 2. For those who are looking to participate in the competitions, so I hope that the webinar for today will be helpful to you. And for those that wonder what is the competitions about, so here is it. Ultima is launching a new competitions in August. Okay, all right, it's called Ultimate Trader League Season 2. So the competitions for these seasons will be slightly different. So there's some features over here. All right, let me point out my pens. All right. Oh, sorry. Okay. So one moment. All right. I guess you can see it, right? Let me put on a pointer. Oh shit. Sorry. Okay. All right. So right. So there's a few features for our new competition for right now. So there's a new weekly ranking battles. So if you're you can fight for your ranks. You can come from rookie to star traders, and then of course, for those that are top 10 traders, top 10% traders, you'll be entitled to enter the Trader Hall of Fame. So for that, if let's say someone saw your strategy is working very well, they can actually copy your copy tradings on the strategy as well. So it will be an extra income for you. And of course, we got a mystery prize awaits. So every trade is actually an opportunity to win. So there's some new features over here. So I will cover on later when we are almost end our webinar later. So what are the special features for competition this time? All right. So we also have the virtual funds, and then you can trade on demo, and then of course you will win the prize. So for those that interested to join, we are open for registration right now. And this is the QR code over here. Okay. So there's a QR code over here. So just scan on it. If you're interested to join, just scan on it and register, and then you are good to go. All right. So give on you guys 3 seconds to scan if you want. If you're not, then never mind. We will have that again in the later sessions. Okay. All right. So back to our topic for today. So basically, we'll cover about trend analysis, and I believe many of you have heard about trends, right? But I believe there's not everyone's know about what is the trends. It's actually about when we talk about trend analysis. So how do we trade? How do we analyze the trends? And what do we need to know about the trends? So today we're going to cover in depth on trend analysis. So what we're going to cover today will be on mainly these 4 points. So first thing, of course, we're going to discuss about trends and why they matters to a traders. And then of course, we will cover about 3 types of trends and how the trends move and how we can analyze the trends. Okay, how we analyze the trends can help. How the trends analysis can help with our tradings. So this is what we are going to cover on today. All right. So anyone here have heard before about trends? I believe if you guys are traders, you're heard before about trend, right? So basically, trends. How do we define the trends? So the first thing, of course, okay, what is trend? Okay, okay, right. Trends. So basically, trends means the dominant directions in which the price move over time. Okay, so meaning that if the trend is moving at these directions, okay, it's a dominant price actions will be on that directions. Okay, basically, it's quite easy to understand. And of course, when you are on the right trend, the path of the least resistance is actually in the markets, means that you don't face a lot of resistance when you are on the trends. So basically, if you are able to identify the trends on the markets, it will be very helpful in your tradings. So this is why we need to know, we need to define a trend before we go into trades. Okay, so of course, why trends matter? The first thing I believe everyone heard before, right? Trend is your friends. Anyone heard this before or never? If you yes, then give me a 1. Give me a yes or something. Let me know you guys are hearing. Yes. Okay, great. So basically, we all heard about this, right? Trend is our friends. Okay, trend is your friends. So of course, trends can be your enemies as well. Okay, so it's very important. We need to understand about trends. Like I mean, if you go to battle, right, you need to know about your enemies, whether they are friends or they are enemy. You need to know about them. Okay, even the friend can be your enemies. Okay, so in the markets, trends can be your enemy if you don't really know about them. Okay, so trading on the right trends will align you with the market momentums. Okay, and then this allowed you. Okay, this allows you to increase your chance of success in trading markets. Okay, so why this can increase your chance of success? Basically, when you are following the path of the least resistance, like what I said just now, right? So when you are trading on the markets, there's less resistance, meaning that there's no one stopping you, or like, for example, you're driving a car, you're driving on a highway, right? So no one is stopping you, and it will be more easier for you. So this is why trend is very matter for our market when you come into trading the markets, right? So now we know what is trends and what is matter. So the next thing we need to know is we're going to dive into the trends. So what are the key points that we need to know about trends? So basically, there's a three type of trends. So anyone know about this? What are the three types of trends? Can someone give me? Can someone give me some response, like what are the trends that are available in the markets? What are the three types of trends? Up, down, and sideways. That's perfect. Great. Correct. So say Muhammad Iqbal Zulkifli, right? Okay, sorry about that. All right. So basically, there's a three types of trends. Okay, the first one, uptrends. So basically, uptrend is formed by a series of higher high and higher low, and then the price trend is moving upwards. And then for the downtrends, is series of lower high and lower low. So the price structures are basically making new low every time they move downwards. Okay. And the third one, when we are unable to identify the markets is whether on uptrend or downtrends, means that the market is moving in a sideways. So basically, how we identify the markets in sideways is that when the market is in a balance, means that there's no clear directions, there's no uptrend, there's no downtrends, and then when you look at the charts, there's no clear high or low. Okay, they are no clear, and basically they oscillate between the support and resistance. So this is why support and resistance is very important when we are doing trades in the financial markets, right? You need to learn about support resistance, and I believe most of you over here already know about support resistance. So they can be very helpful tools for us to identify the trends. Okay, so basically these are the three types of trend that we have: uptrends, downtrends, and sideways. These are the three things. So it's quite easy to understand. All right. So how do we identify the trends? Basically, it's about how the price move. So for uptrends, it's in a higher high and higher low. So for example, in this trade, in this chart, you use the line chart to make it simple. So this would be the higher high. Okay, oh, sorry, I put on HH and HL. Okay, we call it higher high and higher low. Okay, so this is the same one, higher high and higher low. So this is how we identify the uptrends. Right. So for example, charts over here. So basically, it's not difficult for us to identify it. It's currently on an uptrend. So what are the easier way for us to identify? If let's say if you're quite new to the market, I'm not sure whether there's any beginner over here or already there's a lot of experience trader over here. So we're just just a sharings, right? So basically, if you want to identify a trend, what you can do is you can try. Okay, if you're quite new to this, you can try to plot with a line. Okay, use this. Okay, right? Plot up the high, and then the low, and then the high, and then the low. So this is basically suggests that the price action is on the uptrends. So at this pace, we are looking for a pullbacks, and this might go into a uptrend. Okay, so this is an example, right? So this is how we identify the uptrends. And for downtrend, it's basically a series of lower high and lower low, meaning that over here is lower low and then lower high. Okay, so it's the same things, just in the opposite way. Okay, so this is the same one. Okay, so the price action is consistently making a new low. So for example, over here, yeah, same things. So what we can do is we just plot over here, like for example, right now, okay, example, okay, up over here. So we know that now the price may go down. Okay, so this is the same things, for example. Okay, of course, this is how we identify a trend. It doesn't mean that the price will definitely go down over here. But once you have the idea of the current trends ongoing, it will be easier for you to make your trading decisions based on the current situation. Okay, so this is what we can have. All right, so the last one will be the sideways trends. So basically, it's quite easy. So when you got no uptrends or no downtrends, okay, and then it oscillate between the support resistance. So this is what we can identify as a consolidations or a sideways trends, right? So this is how we can see the trends. So any tips on how we can identify the trends? So basically, there's a few tips that's quite easy, okay, quite easy to identify. So first thing, basically, we just need to use our naked eye to identify it based on the price structures, like what we showed just now. Okay, so these are all the things that we can use based on the naked eyes. So of course, if let's say you're a beginner over here, all right, what you can do is you can use the line over here, okay, to help you with that, like plotting a line, or even you can convert your charts to a line chart, okay, to a line chart to identify the trends that you can have. Okay, so this is what we can use through the naked eyes. And the second one, of course, we are going to use, we can use with the help of the technical indicators or any tools, okay, like for example, the tools like trend lines, trend channels, or even we can use, like for example, what was it called, the Fibonacci's or some things. Okay, so these are all the things that we can use. So for the indicators, we can apply, like for example, moving average, okay, Bollinger Bands. So these are all the tools and indicators that would help us to identify the trends, or even like maybe it can help us to easily identify the trends. Like for example, right now, if you know that, okay, for example, gold is on an uptrend, for example, okay, it's on an uptrend, but without the tools, okay, without the tools or any things like this, okay, maybe like you will feel that you easily miss out the trends. Like for example, you look at the charts and then you forgot, I forgot that this is uptrends, right? So if you're able to plot your charts before that through those indicators or like tools like the channels or some things, will help you easily identify the charts, the trends at early stage. Okay, so this is how we can do. And of course, we also can use analyze the trend through the multi-time frame analysis. And for this part, actually, next week we're going to cover on this multi-time frame analysis. So to be honest, we as a trader for periods of time, so I believe this is a very helpful method for you guys to learn about. Actually, if you are not really know about this, I don't really know about this. So you can come over to our webinar on the next week. So basically, we will cover on the multi-time frame analysis in our next week webinar. Okay. So these are the three things that we will be able to use it to identify the market trends. All right. So first thing, let's review again. Okay. First thing, we can through the naked eyes. Second, we can go with the technical tools or indicators, and then of course multi-time frame. So this we will cover on next week. Okay, and then for this, so basically I believe everyone knows how to use it. Okay, so today we're going to cover about the analysis tool or indicators. Okay, how we can use those things to help us with the trend analysis. All right. So for this part, until here, is it all good with you guys? Is it clear? I mean, if you're having trouble to understand, you can just leave me a message in the chat. So I'll stop down and explain. If everyone is okay, doing well, then just give me a 2, type of 2 on charts. Let me know. It's all good. Okay, all good, right? Okay, great. All right, so the next thing. So how can we use technical indicators or tools to identify the trends? So first one, technical tools. So like what I say just now, like what I covered just now. So basically we can use the help of trend line, okay, and then trend channel or even pitchfork channel for us to identify the market trends. Okay, so later on we will cover on how to use it on the live chart. Okay, and the second one would be some indicators like the trend following indicators. So for moving average, Bollinger Bands, these are all the trend following indicators. Okay, so these, those indicators, they actually help us to identify the trends easily. Okay, oh, sorry. And the next one is the trend momentum indicator, like for MACD or SI. Those, they are not actually the indicator for us to identify a trend, but they are more on an indicators that allow us to measure a trend strength or their momentums. Okay, so usually these kind of indicators, they work together with the one we have on moving average, okay, or Bollinger Bands. Usually we will use this indicator together, for example, moving average with the MACD to analyze the entire trend markets. Like for example, we use the trend following indicators to know the market trends right now. And then we use the momentum indicators to verify or measure the trend strength in the current markets. Okay, this is what we can do. Okay, so for MACD, RSI, those are more like a thermometer or speedometers, okay, to measure the speed of the trends or the momentums of the trends. So this is what we can interpret it. All right. So of course, the more how to say, what was it called? Oh, sorry. The more advanced part, okay, is that you can analyze the trend through the chart patterns. All right. So how can we learn about this? Basically, actually, quite a big topic for the chart patterns. All right. So for those that are not really sure about what's chart pattern about, so basically you can go over to our website, okay, and then you can see there's one section is called Trading Center. Okay, you can subscribe to it. So basically you will receive those chart pattern analysis from day to day. Okay, all right, this will cover on that. Okay, of course, you can also come over to our Ultima analyst site, okay, our page. Okay, there's one which we will cover on technical. So over the technical analysis parts, we will also cover on those chart patterns that are available. Okay, like what are the recent market opportunities that have these kind of chart patterns, okay, that you can have a look at. And of course, if you want to learn more about chart patterns, like what are those called double top, double bottoms, or head and shoulders, you can also go to our Ultima Academy to learn more about it. Okay, so this is how we can identify the trends. Okay, all right. So at this stage, anything that you guys like to ask? Is it all good? Okay, it seems like quite easy, right? I think maybe some of that got boring. Oh, wait, it's so easy, right? Okay, all right, so anything, okay, so any questions? If no, then we'll proceed to the next one. All right, so basically we really cover about what are the three types of trends. So I believe many of you have already knows about it, right? So it's very easy to understand. So there's one part I believe, okay, okay, many people don't really talk about it, okay, or they don't really knows about it because we know that market is on the uptrend, it's on the downtrends, it's on the sideways. So, but there's one thing that we need to learn, we need to know about when we come into a trend analysis. Okay, when we come to analyzing the trends, we don't know about it. Is that we need to know how the trend actually move, like how they move. All right. So now we know that trend have uptrends, downtrends, and sideways. But how do they move? So basically the same things. Okay, trend, they move in three ways. Okay, the first one is trend continuations. Okay, meaning that, for example, for right now, euro dollar is on an uptrend, right? So when the price is making a higher high, higher low, we know that the price is most likely to be on a continuations, meaning that the trend will be extending their current trend directions, meaning the price will keep going, forming the higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, until the price move into a reversal. Okay, meaning that for the existing trend, like for example, Euro USD is on an uptrend, so the price will be keep on moving higher high, higher low until the price move into a reversal, which is the price form a lower low and lower high. Okay, this is what usually the market will happens. Okay, from trend continuations it will move into a reversal, okay, or the price move into consolidations, meaning which is what we call as the trend consolidations. Price consolidates and pending for a continuations or reversal. Okay, so this is how trends move. Okay, so let's look at it. Let's have a short example. Okay, so the third one, how do we identify the trends? Okay, so basically over here we see, okay, the price is marking a higher high, and then higher low, and higher high, okay, higher low, correct? So based on the current trends, we know that the price most likely will extend an upside, okay, most extend upside, okay. So this would lead to a trend continuations, okay, and keep on going. For example, okay, until some days, okay, when the bullish momentum is fade out, okay, like for example, okay, in this case, for example, let's say this is a USD, for example, moving up, very high, very low, very high, very low. So at this stage, at this point, okay, the bullish momentum is fading out, okay, meaning that the buyers is losing steam, okay, buyers is losing steam. So, but the seller, the bear seller, the bear momentum is still yet to dominate the markets. So in these cases, the price is most likely move into a consolidations, okay, like what we say, sideways. All right. So in these cases, if we will have a sideways for a period of time, for example, like maybe a few days, okay, then suddenly some news came out, okay, okay, all right. So at this point, the price may happen in two directions, okay. From here, we got the continuations, okay, trend continuations, for example, C, okay, and then this is consolidations, consolidate, okay, and then until some period of time, price will eventually break out, okay, from the consolidations or the sideways, okay. So in these cases, there's two scenario might happen, okay. The first one, the price may continue to extend upwards, meaning that trend may go into a continuations, uptrends, okay, for example, okay. Or the other case, okay, the seller dominates the markets, okay, and this will lead to a trend reversal, okay, or in some cases uptrends, and suddenly price change, downtrends, okay. So these are all we can identify through our naked eyes, and also of course with the help of indicators or even chart patterns. Like for example over here, you got this, maybe you will have a double tops, triple tops, or multiple tops. So these are all the reversal patterns, and in these cases, okay, for example, these are like if from the uptrend change reverse into a downtrend. So these are what we known as the head and shoulders, okay. So these are all the patterns that we can use to identify the market trends. So this is how we can identify the trends. Besides, we need to know about the three types of trends. We also need to know about how the trends actually move. Okay, so we with that in mind, okay, it will actually help you with more clear way to understand the trends and to study about the trends. All right. So this part all good, right? All right, guys, still here? Oh, you got part? Okay. All right. So now we're gonna go into talk about how we can use our indicators to identify the trends. Okay. So with indicators, okay. So first thing, let's cover about some real things over here. I guess some of you got boring with the theory, right? So we are going to a live example over here. All right. So how we can identify the trends? Basically, what we can do is we can use the moving average to help us with the trends analysis. Okay. All right. So how we do that? So basically, what we can do is we can use the moving average. So for my cases, okay, okay, I would use the EMA, okay, exponential moving average. Okay, so this is how I would use the moving average to help me with identifying the trends. So basically, with the help of moving average, we can use the crossover methods to identify the trends. So how we can use it? So basically, we can put on a short-term and a long-term moving average. Like for example, in these cases, I would use the 20 moving average. Okay, 20 moving average, and this is the 50, and this is the 200s. Okay, so this is how I would use the moving average to identify the trends. So basically, when the short-term moving average is crossing over, like for example, over here, okay, over here, excuse me, sorry, right? So for example, over here, we can see that the moving average is basically on a bearish crossover, meaning that the short-term moving average is below the longer-term moving average. Okay, is considered a downtrend. All right. So when the moving average, the short-term moving average is crossing over the long-term moving average, is known as the bullish crossover. All right. So when the bullish crossover happens, okay, this basically can classify the trends is moving into an uptrend. Okay, all right. So we can see that now the trends on the uptrends. And at this point, okay, when the short-term moving average is crossing over the longer term moving average, this would be suggesting a bearish crossover. It means that the trends are now moving from an uptrend to a downtrend. All right, so this is how we can use it. Okay, moving average. So the second one, of course, with the help of, sorry, okay, EMA and MACD. Okay, so let's back again. So what we can do using the EMA and MACD is that we could use the EMA, like the same things, okay, the EMA to identify the trend, plus the MACD to measure the trend momentums. Okay, for example, on my charts, same things, on gold. Okay, all right, over here. So we can see that when the momentum is strong enough, okay, when the momentum is strong enough, you will see that basically the EMAs, the MACDs, okay, would stay above the zero line. Okay, this is a zero line over here. This is a zero line. Okay, this is zero line. So basically, when the uptrend is happening, okay, the uptrend is happening, the MACD would be on the zero line. All right. So when we are using the MACD to measure the trend's momentums. So when the MACD is above the zero line, it basically justifies that the trend is, the uptrend is having the momentums to continue it. Okay. So what we can do is basically you can wait the price to pullbacks on the zero line, or you can use the MA crossover, the MACD crossover methods, familiar with the EMA. Okay, so when they cross over, you can place your entry. So the simple as that. For example, over here, place your entry. Okay, over here, okay, maybe you got see that the price is below zero line, and over here, once the price cross, you can plot your entry over here. Okay, basically this over here we can see that the price is on a continuations, and then we use the MACD. To help us measure the trend's momentums. Like for example, over here, you see the MACD cross. Over here, okay, MACD cross above. Okay, these are all the entries that we could use. Okay, so this is how we can apply the moving average and the MACD, okay, using the indicators to analyze the trends and also time our entries based on that. Okay, so the other things also same, like what we covered just now. Trends, they move in continuations, sideways, and reversal. Okay, so over here we can also have we have something special over here as well, right? For example, over here uptrends, okay, and uptrends and you can see over here, price move into a consolidations. So what does that mean? So basically, when the price moves into consolidations, okay, there will be two scenarios. First, bullish continuations, all right? And the other case is reversal. And in these cases, we see that the gold move into a reversal. So how we can use that, basically, if you are experienced enough, okay, you can actually apply multiple EMAs or multiple MAs to help you with the trend reversal. Like for example, over here, you got a 20 and 50 EMA having a bearish crossover. So this basically would suggest there is a potential bearish reversal. Okay, so over here we got a EMA crossing below 0. So basically over here we got the EMAs and we got the MACD to justify the trend is actually moving to a reversal. Okay, so this is where we can start to plot our entry. Okay, to plan our entry. Like for example over here, there's still a few over here. Like these are all the entry points for us. All right. So this is how we can use the MACD and MA to analyze the trends and also plots. Plots our entry as well. Right. So this is what we can do. All right. Oh, so let me clear this. Okay. So all good, everyone. Is it helpful? If yes, give me a. I catch this sell trend. That's great. That's great. That's great. It is a very good signal actually. So if you are able to identify the trends through the in this market, it's not difficult to catch all the opportunities out there. All right. So another choice of course we could also use like Parabolic SAR. Okay, for example, let me plot in. Okay, let me see. Okay, we could also use this, but basically, for me, I would use EMA. Okay, so if you're using Parabolic SAR as well, it would be another choice. Okay, yeah, but for sometimes the Parabolic SAR could be a lot of noise, like for example over here. So it might be suitable on on a high time frames. It's better actually. Parabolic SAR. Okay, for example over here as well. Okay. Same things, but for me, I will prefer moving average, all right, because I think Parabolic size is quite, it's a little bit lagging, but of course, it depends on how you set your parameters, all right. So eventually, you actually every indicators works their own way. Okay, so what we need to know is we need to know what are the right setting for them. Okay, so this is why we need to go on for a multiple back test, and then we need to, learn more about the indicators, that how we can use it. So these are all the things that we need to know, okay, for the indicators. Okay, right. So basically, so these are the few things that we can have. Okay, basically, like for example, Parabolic SAR, it works better on the higher time frames. Okay, so for example, in this case, maybe we can have a little multi-time frame analysis over here. Okay, so this is what we're going to cover next week. So basically, we're going to cover on multiple time frame analysis on next week. So what we can do is usually, beside how we identify the trends, we also can go through it. I mean, we can also analyze the trends through the different time frames to help us making a more informed trading decisions. Like for example, in this case, we know that gold, okay, for example, it might be facing a very major resistance over here, nearing like 3435. Okay, this is quite a major resistance over here over higher time frames. All right. So this is where we can plot our resistance on the day charts, or even like 6-hour charts, or even 4-hour charts, or whatever you like. Okay, the higher time frame charts. So this is how we can use. Okay, so what we can do is, for example, in these cases, we know that the trends, the broader trends, is on a consolidations. Okay, even like just now we see that the chart is, the 15-minute trend is on a bullish trend, and then go into a sideways, and then go into a reversal. Okay, but on the higher time frames, okay, for example, in day charts, the trend is actually moving into a consolidations, okay? Or we can see over here is actually moving into a what we call as ascending triangles consolidations, all right? So this is basically a very powerful, a very strong resistance over here, okay? So what we can do over here is that, okay, for example, you can use Parabolic SAR, okay, in these cases, okay? You can see that, the moving, the forward charts, the forward trends could be run out of momentums when this happens, okay? For this over here, right? Okay, over here, you can see that over here. Okay, this is when the parabolic SAR above the price is coming out, okay? So basically after this candle, over the broader time frame, we know that this resistance could turn the price structures into a bearish trend in lower time frames. Okay, remember that. Okay, over the higher time frame, this could potentially be a consolidations, right? So when the price came into the resistance, okay, with the help of indicators or other methods, like for example, you can use just simply a support resistance will do. Okay, so this is where we can justify that this is the point where price might go into a selling pressures. Okay, so what we can do is we turn into a shorter time frames. Okay, for example, over here we can turn into the 1 hour charts, or even like I think I would prefer to use the 30-minute charts for short-term tradings. Okay, so this is where we can identify it. So in these cases, okay, so the uptrends has turned into a consolidations and moving into a downtrends over here. So remember that the uptrends in sorry, what can I say? Sorry, let me rephrase it. Okay, the pullbacks phase on a higher time frame in a uptrends, it can be a downtrends on a shorter time frames. Okay, let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. Okay, let me draw it up. Okay, over high time frames, for example, just ignore all these charts. Okay, over broad time frames, if it is a uptrends, okay, in the uptrends, okay, but the correct correction phase, okay, the correction phase, the pullback phase, okay, it could be a downtrend on a shorter time frames. This is what we can see. Okay, all right. So I guess this is clear, right? You better understand, right? Okay, so same for gold. Okay, so on the broad time frames, we know that gold is on a resistance and is on a consolidations. So when you switch into, when the price came to the resistance, you could switch into a shorter time frames, okay? Because at this point, the price might forms a reversal over here, okay, which is could turn into a short selling opportunities, meaning that the trend is moving from a uptrends to consolidations and to a downtrends. So this is how we can do. Okay, so for example, over here, this is what we call Euro USD, same. Okay, let me plot it against. In fact, if you can see our analyze over here, basically we share it on our website yesterday. I mean, our daily analysis. Okay, so this is point where 1.16 can be a major support for Euro USD. All right. So over the broad time frames, same. The trend is on an uptrend. Okay. So what we can do is when the price comes to a support level, okay, and we know that it could be turned into a this is an uptrend and this is an uptrend pullback, okay. So at this point, okay, we know that the price might form a continuations because it's on the uptrends in the broad time frames, right? So, but when is the right time for us to point our entry sorry to find the entries, right? So what we can do is we analyze it through the multiple time frames. So we will cover that more on next week. Okay. So over here, what we can do is we can see that on the let's see 15-minute charts. I mean, 1 hour chart might be a little bit delayed. if you're aggressive traders, okay, you can see the price over here is actually moving on downtrend. Okay, for example, downtrend. Okay, downtrend. Okay, there's a small consolidation over here, downtrends, and you can see a big consolidations over here. Okay, and even over here, you can see a quite. I mean, if you able to see it, there's actually a reversal patterns over here as well. Okay, okay, that's it. So basically over here, you can see that the price move in on the downtrends, okay, and then move into consolidations, and now move into, an uptrends. Okay, so what you can do is you can pin your entry over here, or you can even pin your entry over here if you're aggressive traders. Okay, so this is how we can use the trend analysis to help with our trading decisions, including these all methods that we can use. Okay, so like for example over here, you can use it with the moving average. Okay, you can use EMA, MACD, Parabolic SAR, MACD. All these are all the indicators that we can use. Okay, but of course, if you are experienced enough, try to learn on chart patterns. Okay, I think that is actually the most powerful methods for us to analyze the trends. Okay, so this is what this is based on my personal view. Okay, all right. So all good over here. So that's part. Any questions for me? Okay, if you have, just leave it on the charts. I will respond it later. Right. So before we come to the ends, if you guys have any questions, just leave me a message. And if no, let's go to the last part. All right. So what you need to know about the trend analysis. So the first thing, if today, like what I said just now, basically if you want to analyze trends, the best way for us is to analyze it through a chart patterns. Okay, that's my personal view, just based on my experience. All right. But indicators, they can be a very helpful tool as well. Okay, like for example, MA or the MACD or the Parabolic SAR, those are a very helpful indicators. So the first thing you need to know when you use indicators is that you need to understand your indicators. Okay, so think of indicator as a market thermometers. Okay, so basically the indicators is the ones, is like our thermometer, like our speedometers. All right, so the market don't move because of the indicators. They don't move because of your car. For example, your car, your speedometer shows that, but you are on 100 kilometers per hour. It's not because your thermometer, your speedometer says that you are on 100 kilometers per hour, then your car moves. It's not because of that. It's because your car moves. That's why the thermometer shows that your car is moving in 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, so this works the same for indicators. Okay, so basically the trends is the main reasons that form the price. Okay, and indicator is the one that just use it to measure it or help us to prove it, or use it to support us. Okay, so always, okay, when you use indicator, you need to know about your indicators. Okay, and then always remember to identify the trend first. So what you can do is try the way that I explained just now. Okay, we need to know about the trends, the three type of trends, and how the trend move. Okay, so through that you're able to identify the trends, and then we use indicator as a support to help us, okay, to verify. Okay, like for example over here, okay, maybe you might find that the trend is quite there's no trends, okay, and then you might easily get into confused. Okay, you might think that, oh, this is an uptrend. For example, this is an uptrend. Okay, but in fact, if you're using the moving average, okay, if you're got confused, you can use the moving average, like for example over here. Okay, this is a better choice actually. This is a better example. Let me show. Okay, one moment. Like for example over here, okay, the trend is obviously on the uptrends, right? But in these cases, we can see that the moving average is actually moving into a vertical rate. Sorry, is it vertical? Sorry, got confused. In vertical forms. Okay, so it's in the vertical forms. Sorry, horizontal forms. Right? Okay, yeah, horizontal form, correct. Okay, so when the moving average is moving into horizontal forms, okay, so basically this means that the trend is moving into a consolidations. Okay, so this is how we could use the indicators to justify the trends, okay, as a support. Yes, support. All right. So when you are building your strategies, remember trend analysis should incorporate into every strategies, whether you are short-term traders or you are long-term traders. Okay, meaning that whether you are doing intraday tradings or you are doing a swing tradings, trend analysis should be always the priorities. Okay, because if you, but of course, it doesn't mean that you cannot trade against the trend. You can still trade against the trends as long as you know what the trend is all about. You know what is your strategy about. Okay, but we definitely need to know how the trends works and what the trends is happening on the market right now. Okay, so these could help us to define a better strategies. So this is what we need to know about the trends. Okay, and of course, last, you need to keep learning. Of course, okay, the only things in the financial market that never change is that it never stops changing. Okay, the market can change every year. From time to time, things will happen rapidly. Okay, so this is why we need to keep learning. Okay, so this is basically what we have for on trend analysis for today. Okay, so any questions for me? All right, so just leave me a message if you have. And last part, so we're gonna back to our Ultimate Trader League Season 2 again. All right, so back to this, we're gonna start our competitions on the 4th of August. All right, so right now we are open up for registrations. All right, so basically you can just scan over here the QR codes, okay, to register if you're interested. So basically we have a different features for these competitions right now. So the first thing, we're gonna have a weekly ranking battles. Okay, you can climb your rank up. So when you have a higher rank, you got a better rewards. Okay, so what's the reward? We'll show you later. And you're gonna got ranked into the Trader Hall of Fame if you are top 10% traders with the performance. A mystery prize. So every trade is the opportunity to win. Okay, so what are the winning things? And of course, our calculators. So and then of course you get a virtual funds. Okay, and then these are the things that happens. Okay, right. So what are the mystery prize? Let me see. Okay, this is Hall of Fame. You can rank up. Okay, so for the mystery prize is that we got the lucky draw sessions. Okay, so you can climb your rank up. So like just now what I say, you can climb your rank up from a rookie to a star. Okay, through the tradings. Okay, and for every rank up and for every trade, you will receive 8 tickets for lucky draw. Okay, for lucky draws. Okay, so the more you trade, the more tickets you got. The higher ranking you get, the more you trade, the more tickets you got, the more chance of you get winning the prize. Okay, and of course, for trader rewards, that winning the prize, you will receive a credit bonus. Okay, meaning that this is a credit bonus that you can use for trading. So okay, use it for tradings. Okay, so these tradings, I mean, it's not a cash, it's a credit. Okay, but you could use it to trade. So whether you're winning or losing, I mean, when you are losing, I mean, you will deduct your credit, of course. Okay, but you're winning the cash price. Okay, you're winning with the cash, so you can withdraw the cash after that with the profits that you got. Okay, so these are all the grand prize that we have for our Ultimate Trader League Season 2. Okay, so if you guys are interested, just scan on the QR codes to participate. Okay, and or you can move over to our official website to learn more about it. That's it. So that's all for our webinar for today. Sorry, I see this. This can receive a demo email. Sorry, it means demo account, right? if you are meaning demo account, yes, this one, I mean, after you will receive a demo account for the tradings. Sorry about that. I think it's on the date when the conversation starts. So for this, I think, yeah, sorry about that, because you can try, you can maybe check with your what is it called? Sorry, your account managers. Yeah, fund demo account is over here. Sorry, let me point it out. Yeah, over here you can see. One moment. Oh, sorry. Okay, over here. Sorry. Let me. Okay, over here. This is one that you got. Virtual fund 40K, and you will receive 10K every Saturday. Yes, correct. But you will top up every week, so you are up to 40K. Yeah. Yes, correct. Most profit. Okay. All right. Yes, 1 month for 1 month. For this term, I think you guys need to move over the terms and conditions because it's quite a lot. Okay. Yeah, you can actually scan over here, and then you will get the terms and conditions over the registration page. Of course, there'll be a drawdown, but I mean, drawdown for the uh, drawdown for, I mean, the ranking is not. I think the ranking is not affected by the drawdown as long as you don't get wiped out. Okay. All right. So yes, live ranking. You will get ranking on the trade hall of fames if you are the top 10% trader. Yes, every day over here, top 10% trader will enter the hall of fame. So basically, if you got a very good strategy, it's a very good a good time to gain exposure. Okay, because people might eventually follow copy your tradings, right? Copy your trades. So you will add an extra bar on that as well. Okay. So beside competitions, any questions on the other parts? No? All right. If there's no more, then thank you everyone. And Kang Wei Chow, very active today. Thank you. Very supportive. All right. So we'll see you on next week. So have a good day, everyone.